different things to do and different things to track. And yeah, I think it's a great addition to that.
Absolutely, and the goal here being we want to set players up for success. We don't want anybody to jump into Upland and feel like they have no idea what's going on. So things like the Explore Center, the Mission Center is going to continue to expand. We're going to keep building on those things. Right now, Mission's very focused on kind of the new player experience, getting people to, getting them exposed to all the first things in Upland. But we're going to keep building on that. There will be, regular missions that you guys will be able to complete, maybe, daily, weekly, bonus events, stuff like that. So it's going to be really good. I think it's going to be really powerful for engaging new users, and I just can't wait for us to keep building on top of it.
And for that roundtable, so Matt, you're going to be...
Yes, I'll be there, so if you guys want to ask me any questions about missions, tutorials, anything related to onboarding, Lindsay and I will be there. So.
Exactly, and also Lindsay, who's in charge of growth for Apple. Lindsay, can you stand up for a second?
Where's Lindsay?
So,
I lost you. Bright lights.
She'll see it.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on here. We are going to talk a little bit about cars, transportation, and racing. Last year, we debuted cars for the very first time here at Genesis Week. We showed the very first race. We dropped the very first car. Now, we're going to be building on top of that. In 2023, we have a lot of new exciting initiatives with, with regards to cars. So what do players have to look forward to this year with cars?
Yeah, so first of all, maybe we're going to have a few little small announcements here in this section. So through the day, we're going to open a very exclusive closed beta for real-time racing that anybody that owns a Genesis card can actually test out and participate in. And we're going to have some stations here that you can also come and have some kind of like small pool competition. So this is the first time where you get to kind of like see where we're going with real-time racing, and we're going to talk a lot about it. Moreover, we have here, by the way, Gustavo from Stock Car Pro Series. Are you here? Stand up. So we're one of our partners. Thanks for coming. Amazing. So an amazing partnership that we announced. But, you guys should definitely ask the team members about where we're going with that. It's a really, really cool set of products. The thing I love about this partnership is that it covers our entire product offering, from cars and actual real-world cars, to racing in real-world tracks, to legits, to spotlights. So really, really cool partnership. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely, and we've also been working on a couple other things. You mentioned interactive racing, which is going to allow you guys to actually control your cars a little bit more on the racetrack. And go-karts, as we just mentioned, we are going to be dropping go-karts to all you guys today, and everybody who has a go-kart is going to get into the interactive racing beta, so you guys will all be able to enjoy that over the... Yeah, cool! So last thing on cars and racing, speedways are another development that we haven't touched on yet, and I think that's been a really interesting addition to the metaverse. So, tell me about how speedways are going to kind of interact with playing for stakes with topics, right? It is going to be a meta venture. How is that going to play out?
Yeah, and again, we wanted to find a way that people who run and operate speedways and racetracks have some kind of skin in the game in the locales where they operate, and this is why there's a requirement to own a certain amount of properties alongside the racetrack. And once we introduce real-time racing, which now introduces player agency, that brings up the possibility to actually race for stakes. So now that you have control, you can actually imagine races where everybody puts in a stake, either an NFT or fungible tokens, and then the winner can take the prizes. And the speedway operators, they can set up those tournaments the way they want it. So this is going to be coming over the next several months, probably. But we're making headway. I know that the speedways are currently under construction, right?
Yeah. I think we've started just the first couple, and there's going to be a lot more coming as we continue to improve and add new speedways over the next several weeks and months.
Yeah, so that's amazing. We're really looking forward to see how this goes.
It's going to be really awesome, and like we said earlier today, we are going to have a live demo for you guys, so anybody that wants to come and check out the interactive racing, test out the go-karts, you're going to be able to. You might be able to win some tickets too, we'll see. All right, so moving on, we're going to talk a little bit about legits. Legits have become a pretty core part of our product. Last year we delivered...
So before we move to legits, in the roundtable we're going to have Jeremy. Can you stand up, just so people know? And we also have Nate. And Nate, can you stand up?
Nate's in the back there.
Okay, cool.
There.
Perfect. Cool.
I'll announce everybody at the end too, just to make sure everybody's, you guys know where everybody's at. So last year in November, we delivered kind of a new experience with Legits for the FIFA World Cup, which was a really awesome opportunity for us. We hope everybody enjoyed that. But what are we doing to follow that up in 2023?
Yeah, so again, we're going to have a lot of cool legits going on with our new partners at Stock Our Pro Series. And also, we're going to take the mechanics that we think worked really well for FIFA legits and actually launch the next season for the NFLPA with those types of mechanics. So the way that you get mementos with NFLPA legits is going to resemble closer to how the FIFA mechanics work as well. And then obviously something that got launched I think last week or so is legit wearables. Yep. So now that we actually launched also cafes, I don't know if you haven't had a chance yet to experience it, please try it out, it's pretty cool. But now you can also wear and express yourself. And this opens up a whole new avenue for UGC and creativity. So at the end of the day, and hopefully very soon, people will be able, or players will be able to create and design their own wearable legits.
That's awesome, and yeah, I mean, UGC is a huge theme for us all year long, and especially today. So hopefully, just excited to see what players are going to be doing with all that good stuff, and excited to see what happens with NFLPA. We have we want to make it more accessible and more exciting to participate. I think kind of borrowing from those FIFA mechanics is going to be really interesting. So hope you guys enjoy that. And as we mentioned, we'll have Jeremy Parker at the round table with Nay. And you guys can go and ask them all the burning questions about legits.
That was the card?
Oh, I'm sorry.
And Kelly is going to be in the legits. Kelly, can you stand up?
Sorry, Kelly's going to be legits. My bad. Thank you. All right, so jumping ahead on the topic of UGC and community development, the Upland Developer Network. This is something we've been really focused on over the last year, growing this network, inviting more players to participate in the program, and actually leverage the Upland Metaverse to create their own projects and actually make use of what we're building. So starting to feel like things are starting to really accelerate, right? We recently announced the UDN Pro program alongside some new Layer 2 projects, but of course the fun doesn't stop there. Idan, where are we headed when it comes to community development and Upland?
So first of all, I want to congratulate all the finalists for this year's hackathon. We see some fantastic projects.
Absolutely,
so fun to see that. And again, the Upland Development Network we look at it as such a strategic and important part of what Upland is going to become and why Upland is going to be a super app, not just a gaming platform, right? So lots of exciting things going on, and maybe we have an announcement right here.
Yeah, we do have a special announcement for you guys.
We've been working with a partner in the past several months called Matilda, and they are going to introduce the first arcade game into Upland that is called Guntech 2. And they have been integrating with our developer platform, and probably over the course of the next couple of weeks, we're going to see them launch in Upland as well. So again, the first arcade games that connect to Upland is going to come soon.
All right, super excited. Can't wait. Looks like it's going to be a good time. So UGC, UDN, it's all coming together. It's going to be really exciting.
And for the UDN roundtable, we're going to have Martin and Carlos. Can you guys please stand up? Awesome.
Awesome. So moving on a little bit, we have been talking about UGC a lot. MetaVentures are kind of our pathway to allow you guys to express yourselves, introduce your presence into the metaverse. And this topic really ties in with what we were just discussing, right? We just launched the first iteration of cafes, which you mentioned earlier. So you guys definitely go check that out. Give us your thoughts. It is super exciting to be able to deliver that for you guys for Genesis Week. And I hope that, a huge welcome to everybody who's joining us across in all of our satellite locations inside of Upland, across the metaverse. So super excited about that. Now, what do you think cafes are going to do for socialization in Upland? Obviously, this is a huge change to kind of how players interact.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if anybody ever tried to conduct like a meeting or conversation in full immersion. It's different than just using Zoom or Google Meets, right? You have these intuitive gestures, and you see a group of people huddling. Obviously, this launched with spatial audio, so you go and if you want to hear somebody talk, you need to get close to them. So it's a very human way to communicate and socialize. We actually see this as an immersive extension of how socializing is going to look like in the future. So you have your offline way to socialize, that's your kind of like in Upland, that will be the text-based messaging, the P2P and neighborhood chats that were also, by the way, launched a couple of days ago, I think. And then when you're online, when you're able, you can also then get fully immersed and talk with your peers in immersive settings. And the beautiful thing is that you see Upland around you. So now Upland has become fully immersive platform.
Absolutely. And why is UGC such a strong focus for us right now? Obviously, we've been talking about it for the last year, but it seems like things are really accelerating.
I mean, two major reasons why. We're always saying we want to empower the community to create value and actually also to extract value, right? There's no reason why people can't, at the end of the day, make a living in the metaverse, have day jobs, right? And part of that is creation and entrepreneurship. The other thing is, again, like the level of immersion in UPLAND, again, that's a game changer. Again, we're making strides. And if you just imagine, for example, you are in a cafe, you walk to the balcony, and you see all these beautiful creations around you, right? This is something that empowers the creators to actually, be out there with the creation and have people looking at what they're doing.
Absolutely, and we know we have a lot of you guys asking us when is my MetaVenture going to come out, when am I going to get a chance? We have been working really hard on scaling those programs, so hopefully you guys start to feel that over the next several months. We've actually added a lot of stuff kind of on our side to help improve that process so we can speed up, actually improving all of those MetaVentures, improving your guys' designs, and really just looking forward to expanding that program significantly over the next several months.
Yeah. So in that roundtable, we're going to have Jennifer going to stand up, and also John from Nowhere, who is the CEO of Nowhere, that is joining us today. Thank you, John.
So save all your burning questions for Jennifer and John. Our last topic today, and possibly the most exciting, it's going to be STEM. STEM, life, species. John, this is a big deal. This is really changing how we're doing things, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are wondering more about what are our plans for life in the metaverse. We talked a little bit about the map asset totems, Protem, a little bit earlier in the week, or last week actually maybe. So how is the simulation going to help us prepare for life?
So this will help us via very, very cool and innovative gaming mechanics to actually start studying and seeing how the community interacts with the mechanics that simulate life. And again, like always, we're doing it very slow and very, very cautiously. But the one cool thing about this game is that it's going to be based on a series of items that each one of them is unique and one of a kind. And it carries these traits that when they combine together, they kind of like form the manifest of how you need to take care of that totem. And the way that the totem works is that if you take care of it well, it will pay you back with Protem. So whatever Protem you put into it, if you do it correctly, it will pay back with dividends. And again, we like to call it internally kind of like life on steroids, because as a test, this is going to be an extreme version of life, right? To kind of like start out. And again, important to know that Protem, eventually will be exchangeable one-to-one for STEM when STEM launches fully with life.
Super awesome. So all the gaming you guys are going to be doing, the stuff you're going to be doing with your totems is going to matter in the long run, which is awesome. And what can you tell us about the Species Foundation? We've touched on this just a little bit, really, but we haven't had kind of a real chance to talk to the community about it until this week. So give us a little insight there.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we've always wanted to introduce life into UPLAND. And as we kind of like, took the seat at the table to start planning it out, it dawned on us that, this is not something that we can do on our own as a one single team, right? Like, we don't want to launch 10 or 20 different iPhones in UPLAND when we do. And moreover, we don't want to kind of like have life that is not in the future potentially interoperable with other worlds. Again, we are big proponents of the open metaverse. And this is why we kind of like, we initiated a decentralized effort called the Species Foundation. And it's very intuitive, so what the Species Foundation aimed to do is to take all forms of life and map them into digital form to create a single unified repository of digital life that can be then adopted by any game or virtual world. One of the first adopting worlds obviously is going to be UPLAND. So the idea at the end of the day is actually empower, maybe hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of creators to all work on this very critical, and very ambitious effort. And then UPLAND will benefit from that work, and then obviously all of the creators are going to benefit from their creations as they're being used in different worlds and metaverses. At the end of the day, this allows us to, hopefully in the future, integrate a much richer life product without the UPLAND team having to actually do all the work, but actually empower thousands of creators to do the work together.
Love it. It's going to be so exciting. I think it's going to really add an interesting dynamic to the metaverse. Having Spark and property development there kind of seems like this is the next evolution in that in a way, right?
And then the other thing with this roundtable is also going to be interoperability. And then if you remember, anybody who was here Genesis Week last year, we talked about the NFT portal.
Yep.
It has taken us a year, but we actually just deployed yesterday the first iteration of the download flow of NFTs from Upland to Ethereum. So currently this is a closed beta. So as of yesterday, Upland Bureau account has downloaded the first, I think, 5 to 10 block explorers to Ethereum. We're going to take the time now, again, because this Ethereum works a bit differently. It's kind of like you can change smart contracts as you deploy them. We're going to probably take the next couple of weeks to verify basically that everything is working exactly as expected, and then we're going to open it up for everybody. Block explorers are going to be the first class of assets that are going to be downloadable, but eventually we envision every NFT in Upland to be able to be downloaded to Ethereum. And obviously this also works with the reclaim flow. So anything you download, if you trade it outside, the owner of the NFT on Ethereum will be able to always reclaim it back to Upland. So this is something that just launched into closed beta. Very excited about the future of interoperability and also allowing Uplanders more liquid places where they